Is this everybody?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. Alright guys, we are currently in our harvest period at the moment. We only harvest once a year at Groot Constantia. It is about the middle of January is when we start. It is the peak of summer. It is when the sun is at its hottest and the grapes are at their largest. Alright, we hand pick our grapes all the way to the beginning of autumn. This year we've picked it a little bit earlier because it has been a very hot year all around the world. Yeah, I mean, we won't talk about the other circumstances of that, you know, global warming. We will enjoy good wine until our face melts. All right. Yeah, so we harvest our grapes and then yeah, so we are currently at the peak of production at the moment. This is our production floor right here that we are in. Let me show you a few of the characters involved in the winemaking process. The pneumatic press, that is one of the very important tools that we use. It is used to convert grapes into grape juice. It is used to replace the old school stomping on the grapes with our feet. Tradition is everything. It is at the forefront of everything we do here at Groot Constantia. However, we do not stomp on the grapes with our feet. If anyone has come prepared, it's unfortunately not happening. Alright? We now use the pneumatic press, and pneumatic is Greek for breathe. Because inside of those cylindrical machines is a balloon-like membrane which expands and contracts. And when it expands, the pressure crushes the grapes on the side of the walls, separating the skins and seeds from the juices. It's a very meticulous process. It's monitored every 5 to 10 minutes, most times by the winemaker himself. If we use too much pressure inside of those machines, it will crack the seeds of the grapes when pressing. And those seeds will seep into the juices, making the juices very bitter. It is the opposite of what we want with the white wine. Of course, we want just its fruity juices. Alright? The red wine, however, we allow for a lot more pressure because inside the skins and seeds is where those natural preservatives, the tannins, are hiding. And the tannins give you that bitterness, that bite when you drink in a young red wine. But however, it is used to help and prolong the aging potential of a wine. Alright? Yeah. Interesting. The biggest difference between white wine and red wine, as I'm sure some of you guys do know this, that the white wine is stripped from its skins and seeds. It's just the juices that we want. The red wine, after it is pressed, is in constant bondage with its skins and seeds. Alright? The red grape, its juices, is in fact the same color as the white grape. It is the skins that give it its dark red color and what we call red wine. Alright? Is anyone doing the chocolate and wine tasting? No one? So then at our tasting, we will try our 2015 Blanc de Noir, and that is red grapes stripped from its skins and seeds, just the juices that we want. So it's a white wine made from red grapes, and you'll taste and see the difference as well. Alright? From the pneumatic press, we then send it to these stainless steel tanks all around us over here. These are our fermentation tanks. And this is where we add yeast to grape juice. And when yeast meets sugar and oxygen, it begins to convert, it begins to ferment. This process, this conversion is essentially energy. And energy which is essentially heat. It gets very, very hot inside of these tanks. So the two things that I want to point out to you is number one, notice that all of them have these caps on top of them. These caps helps us to control the oxygen going inside of the tank. And when the oxygen serves as the fuel for this conversion. Without the oxygen, this conversion to wine cannot take place. So by controlling the oxygen going in and out the tank, we are able to control the alcohol percentage of the wine. Alright? Sometimes they leave it open for 5 hours, sometimes they leave it open for 5 days, depending on which grape it is and what is the alcohol percentage we're looking to achieve. The next thing are these darker rings that you see around all of these tanks. This is our cooling bands. We send water to go through our pipes. It goes in and around these cooling bands. It does not come into contact with the wine. It simply cools down the process. Alright? The white wine we store at about 8 to 10 degrees. Most important reason being that a cooler temperature helps preserve the fruitiness when converting it to alcohol. And the red wine, we keep the temperature up a little bit to about 26 to 30 degrees. And that a higher temperature helps us to again extract the pigments and the tannins out of the skins when converting to alcohol. Alright? Any questions this far? Everyone?
It's all computerized. This process is all computerized.
What do you mean?
So you said that it's monitored by the winemaker. Is he like physically present, or does he do
is
it?
most of the time physically present.
Okay.
In fact, most times he was here earlier on today, and it's Sunday, but most times you will always see him around here. You notice that they all have these little checklists on each tank, and you'll see it when we go to our maturation cellar as well on the barrels. It's checked every day. It is very organized. I suppose that is what makes wine, or that's what classifies wine as an art. You know, it's over a period of 3 years from the soil to the bottle, but it's a process monitored every 5 to 10 minutes. Back in the day, they would just take grapes and they would throw it into a large pool, and due to the natural microbes or the natural yeast found on the skin, they would get wine, they would get alcohol, but they would get a lot of undesired outcomes as well. Nowadays, everything is within our control, what we want, and within our time as well. And that's the beautiful thing about wine. And yeah, that's why I think it's also so closely knit with human beings. Alright? So our white wine, or the fermentation process, the conversion to alcohol, it takes 2 to 3 weeks, 14 to 21 days. After that, our white wine is matured in the tank, and when we mature it or give it time to blend with each other in the stainless steel tank, there's a strong emphasis on a fruity-like flavor. There are exceptions to the white wine. Those exceptions, and our red wine is sent to our maturation cellar to be matured in a barrel, and that is the final phase of the craft of wine, and it is also our next stop on the tour. So please kindly follow me.